Good morning, Frontline Church. I'm Doug. I'm one of the small group leaders on the Wirral. The passage today comes from the book of Acts, chapter 26, verses 15 to 27. And as we've been hearing, this passage is about Paul's trial in front of Herod Agrippa, who was the king of Judea at the time. In this passage, Paul continues his defence against his accusers as the trial reaches its culmination, its verdict. There's a lot in this passage as Paul sets out on his final defence. He essentially tells the court, the king and his accusers, his own theology. And the way he does this is through retelling of his own testimony, his own story. It is in this text that he recounts his conversion in the most detail, and we join him halfway through. And as he continues, I wanted to pick out what I thought were the main points that he was trying to make. Number one, Paul tells us that Jesus speaks to us. In the Old Testament, a lot of revelations of God happen in holy spaces, of the temple, or on remote places on the top of a mountain. But God speaks to Paul while he's walking along the road with his buddies. And our own revelations might not be as dramatic, but nevertheless, God speaks. He appoints us to serve and to bear witness to our own experiences of God. God doesn't say to Paul, go and tell them everything that you've learned or have been taught, everything that's been drilled into you during your career as a Pharisee. What he says is go and share your experiences of me. Paul says God protects us, which his own life is a testimony to. And as you can imagine, this is a bold move, given that he's surrounded by a gathering of people who might wish him dead. And you could even think that it's quite ironic, given that Paul isn't safe or free, but nevertheless he is determined to let the court know that God is one who protects. And finally, he sends us out for his purpose, and his purpose is this, Paul says, to bring revelation, to bring repentance, which in turn transfers people from the power of Satan to the power of God. And this allows them to have the forgiveness of sins. It allows them to be sanctified for the purposes that God has for them. Paul then proceeds to back up his witness with logic and reasoning. He explains to King Agrippa that all he's been doing is obeying the vision that he had, and that the Christian testimony is in keeping with the Old Testament writings about the Messiah. That the Messiah would die, rise from the dead, and would bring a message of light to the Jews and Gentiles alike. Paul also talks about the demonstration of repentance by deeds, the transforming power of turning from darkness to the light, to receive forgiveness of sins, and to live life according to God's purpose. I hope you have a wonderful day.